All right, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, mic check. There we go. That should be golden. All right, there we go. Thank you. But yes, so today we are also hi Tabby, also hi Dragon. Thank you for redeeming your park entrances. But yeah, so also hi Yoi, how you doing? So today what we're gonna be doing is that we are, hang on, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, there we go. All right, so also hi Ranma, how you doing? But yeah, so normally I don't touch Asmongold with a 10-foot pole just because he's a very, very divisive personality, to say the least. And I don't usually go after or talk about, you know, people of that scene, like politics and all that other kind of stuff. But Asmon decided that he wanted to, and it's something I've been wanting to talk about for a bit as well. And that's about male VTubers. So essentially what happens is that every so often we'll get this conversation of, you know, what's even also hi Hour over on YouTube. How you doing? But so basically every year we kind of get this discussion, maybe once or twice, about, you know, male VTubers and what are they really, you know, good for? You know what I'm saying? And what Asmongold said during the whole clip isn't necessarily new, right? It's not new. We've heard this 1,000 times about male VTubers and the struggles of being a male VTuber. Excuse me, as opposed to female VTubers. So I'm going to say this before we get into discussing it, is that we're going to be civil. We are going to have a nice conversation and we're going to be civil about it, right? Even though the guy who is speaking right now is Asmongold, but we are going to be civil about it. If we start flinging shit, so we got a saying in the army, and that is, don't play fuck games. So if we are going to start slinging shit, prepare for what's coming, because it's not going to be nice. So I'm just letting you all know. Also, hi Sarah, how you doing? But yeah, so when it comes to being a male VTuber, it is hard. It is on average about, it's pretty hard, because here's the thing. VTubing is very predominantly female oriented. It is. It's like it's not, you know, it's not, oh well, that's your opinion. No, it is true. Right? It is true that on average for every, probably I want to say maybe 1 or 2 male VTubers, there's probably 6 or 7, maybe even 8 female VTubers. It is about 80 to, I want to say anywhere between 80 to 90% of VTubers are female. It's a very female dominating space, which is fine. That's perfectly a-okay. Let's see here. No worries, fully understandable. With shit slinging here. Yeah, exactly. Also, hi Scorpio, how you doing? So I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a heads up for what's about to come. Hi Lilac, how are you doing? I hope you had a very nice Easter. Now just remember, Lilac, we're about to have a pretty pretty big discussion, so just giving you a warning. Just to give you a little heads up. But yes, so basically, when it comes to male VTubing, there is this thing called like the male VTuber debuff, which I wouldn't call it a debuff. I would not, because that's discouraging male VTubers as a whole. It's not so much as a debuff. It is more on lines of like, I don't know how to, I'm trying to find the words to describe it, right? I'm trying to find the words to really describe what I'm talking about here, but you get the idea. It is, it's a struggle. I would say it's more on lines of a struggle. And also this kind of came around because HoloLive also, or I shouldn't say HoloLive, Covercore also stop all of their assistance for HoloStars. And if you don't know what HoloStars is, HoloStars, in fact, actually, let me see if I can find the post. Covercore. Hang on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it on Yago. I think Yago might have retweeted it. Or if I just do HoloStars. HoloStars. So, basically what happened was that, here we go. Perfect. Sweet. Perfect. Hi, Sin. How are you doing? Nice, let's go. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. It is. It is very, very, very unfortunate. Also, hang on real quick. I'm trying to... Also, Gwen, how you doing over on YouTube? How you doing? I don't speak... I only speak English. Sorry. I don't speak English. I don't speak English. I speak English. So, I'm just warning you. But yes, a con for being yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it is a con. Now I will say this is that so Covercore kind of put out a notice about HoloStars and that they are ceasing their assistance with HoloStars. So they are effectively leaving the boys all on their own, right? They are effectively leaving the boys on their own, which is a bit of a shame, which is honestly just a crying shame if you ask me about it, because here's the thing, and we'll go over this here in a little bit. And also there we go. Okay, yeah, sorry, I bumped my mic. Okay. And if it sounds like I'm a little disjointed and everything, it is because I've never really had to do a pretty serious conversation like this before. So this is actually like my first time really covering something that's relatively serious, because normally I'm all about the jokey jokes, look at the toys, look at the dinosaurs, look at the sexy dinosaur man doing shit. You know, jokey jokes and all that kind of stuff. So if it sounds like I'm a little disjointed and ill-prepared, it is because this is usually something that is 100% out of my wheelhouse. And I am trying my best to kind of like piece together my thoughts. Because again, normally I'm all about the jokey jokes and stuff. Wait, they don't have contracts? They do have contracts. They do have contracts. So what it is that it's the equivalent of, now this is a thing in Japan. So it's almost as if they are sending HoloStars to what are known as banishment rooms. So what it is essentially is that they don't want to fire them, but they're not going to support them. So places like Sony would send employees that they don't really want to outright fire and just kind of let them or make them quit on their own devices. So the boys are back in town and no one will help them. Exactly. No, that's basically what it is. So what it is that, so what a banishment room is that they essentially send employees that they don't want or they don't like into these little sections of like an office building. and they'll give them menial tasks and barely any work until they just want to up and quit. It's a thing that they do in Japan. And that's essentially what they're doing here with an entire division of HoloLive, essentially. And this is not to say like, and it's not to say they're bad, right? It's not that they're bad. No, Gerard T. Rexford is probably single-handedly the biggest dinosaur VTuber out there right now. Probably next to like people like Kira P and Pocket Paris and Terrorizu, but that's besides the point. But basically you have like people like Gerard who are part of HoloStars, and they're entertaining. It's just they don't make money. That's the problem, is that they don't make money. And let's be honest, Covercore does not care about your Oshis. They care about what makes the bottom line. And if the boys don't necessarily make that money, well, they're gonna kind of have to cut them, but they're still under contract, basically. But let me see here real quick. So we'll take a look at their announcement here. Let me move this over. There we go. Okay. And like I said, if it sounds like I'm a little disjointed, again, this is usually something that is completely out of my wheelhouse, just because I don't usually cover these things. But the whole subject of male VTubers is always like an interesting like fascination of mine, just because it is a subject that has been popped up like every once in a while. It is a common subject, basically. Okay, so here we go. So it says here, so this was released on, I want to say this was on the 3rd of April. So not too long ago. Don't they have the music videos and stuff? They do, but a lot of the stuff that they usually sell are things like merch, voice packs, acrylic stands, concerts, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to hold on to that little chestnut here in a little bit, because I have some things to say about that. So it says here, notice on the changes to be made to HoloStar's management structure. Thank you very much for your continued support for HoloLive Productions and HoloStars. We wish to notice you of some upcoming changes made to HoloStars management structure. Since its launch in 2019, HoloStars has been active for almost 7 years. God damn it. Wow, it has been 7 years, Jesus. They are as old as I am in the military, because I signed up for the Army back in 2019. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Sorry, I have like my Zoid next to me because I was fixing this fucker. So, with its debuts of first, second, and third gens, followed by Uproar, it has grown into a group with a total of 12 currently active members, and over the course of 7 years, their activities went beyond streaming on YouTube, as they joined events, exhibitions, collaborations, and live shows on site. However, the current state of HoloStars, of the HoloStars business, has forced us as a company to have repeat discussions about how to maintain HoloStars in a suitable manner. So basically, what it is that they're not making money. Right, they're not making money, and for a while, it sounds like for a while they haven't been making money. If they're sitting here having multiple discussions like this, especially repeated discussions, yeah, it sounds like they're not really, they haven't been making money for a while. So we consider the future direction of the group's activities from various perspectives. So here, ultimately, we have arrived at the conclusion that the management structure in a way that fits the current status of HoloStars activities is unavoidable. As a result, the company-led activities of the group, which have progressed alongside the individual activities of each talent, will be coming to a close. So basically what it is that they're shutting it down. They're putting the kibosh on this thing. It is basically a dead branch, essentially. So, will be coming to a close. From this fiscal year onward, activity policies will shift mainly to focus on the individual activity. So basically what it means is that they are now going to be focusing on an individual basis. So instead of like the group, now it's going to be like, say, Gerard or other Hollow Star members, right? Which is not good. So it really is kind of a survival of the fittest now. Which really sucks, because this is how Niji Sanji does it. Let's see here. Where was I? Moreover, as we reallocate resources, some of our support will be limited or concluded entirely. These several changes affect mainly company-led projects and initiatives, my bad. Talent streams conducted in company studios, all types of new merchandise releases, including anniversary items, production and release of original songs, etc. So per member and whoever is doing better. Basically, yes. That's stupid. It is. Because normally what makes HoloLive and Covercore a lot better than Niji Sanji is that they actually, instead of member by member, they actually help out the whole wave, essentially, if not like little groups and stuff like that, right? So this is essentially what Niji Sanji does. And we'll circle around to Niji Sanji and compare them to how they handle their boys as to how HoloLive handled their boys. So we'll get to that. Meanwhile, within this new structure, we will continue to provide necessary and appropriate environment and support for each talent to pursue their activities in line with the aforementioned policies. We are in discussion with each talent regarding their activities going forward and respect their wishes to do the best of our abilities. We hope you will continue to give your warm support for the talent's activities. Please understand that these changes are being made as an executive decision aiming to optimize the overall business, and has not been caused by any of the talents themselves, which is good. We can sleep easily at night knowing like it's not the talent, it's just the agency. So that's good. I mean, like, it's a small little sliver of hope, basically, in this shitstorm, basically. The only way I would see, or I would even think about agreeing with this, is if one of the boys that are not putting all their work in, but I don't see. No, and that's the thing. Now, granted, I don't watch a lot of Covercore stuff. I will occasionally. I like Fuomoko. I like Hosho Marine. Hosho Marine out of HoloLive is my Oshi. I love the Horny Hag Pirate. And I love Fuwawa Mokoko. I love them to bits. Raura, I love Raura. But I don't watch them, right? I don't watch them often because normally they stream on Japanese time. So whenever I'm at work and I'm doing other things, they're streaming. And then whenever I get home, they're not streaming. They're asleep, essentially, right? So that's why one of the reasons why I don't really watch HoloLive all that much. And the same thing goes for like Hollow Stars. I don't watch a whole lot of Hollow Stars that much. I will watch clips of Gerard, but that's about it. Right? And there was only one controversy with Gerard, and that was with my friend Skiddo, and that's just because they both unfortunately had the same fandom name, which was the Dynamites. And Gerard was a absolute boss and a gentleman, and he let Skiddo keep the name for her fandom because she was here first, and he went with the sorority, which honestly that fits him a lot better than the Dynamites. Which again, love that about Gerard. That right there earned my respect for the man. because he could have been all Mr. Big Corpo Borpo and be like, no, actually, we have decided that we're going to keep it and you gotta change it, or otherwise we will sue you. So no, that is really good. I love that. And Gerard sounds like, from the clips I've seen of the guy, absolute goober. Absolute goober guy. Love Gerard. But the fact that they're now basically left on their own it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And I'll get to that here in a little bit. Once again, we hope for your continued support and appreciation of Hollow Stars in the future. Okay. So that's pretty much everything, right? So, and I will talk about this, right? And I will talk about this, right? So what do I personally think about all of this? Is that personally, I think this is really fucked up, but also it's not surprising. And I've been, and I've made a few comments about that here and there, right? Is that it's not surprising that Hollow Stars kind of went this way, because from what I have seen throughout the years of watching HoloLive and following Cover Core and all that kind of stuff, right, is that they didn't really do much with them, right? They didn't do much with them because a lot of the big events that happened went to the girls, right? Things like teaming up with the LA, the LA Dodgers? I think it was like a a humongous, an absolute ginormous baseball collaboration went to the girls. You had things like teaming up with Fortnite went to the girls. You let Suise, one of the members, essentially make her own, I believe it was like her own agency. So, and then you also had like people like Fubuki who had like a Zoids collaboration. There's now a collaboration with Gundam. There's so much going on for the girls, but you never see anything with the guys. As far as I'm aware of, let me actually see here real quick. So I'm actually going to Google this. Let me see here real quick. Let me see here. Hollow Stars collabs. Because I don't think there really was much. I'm trying to see like what like collaborations did they do? Not with like the girls, but I'm talking about like just as like a whole, like promotional collabs and stuff like that, right? Know what I'm saying? But I don't really see any. I could be missing something. And that's totally on me, right? But but you get the idea though, right? A lot of these events went to the girls and the guys never really got anything. And I don't think they didn't, to my knowledge, they didn't really collab all that much with the girls either. And you can chalk that up to idol culture, because you got unicorns that will absolutely at the sight of, their Oshi, talking to a man or collaborating with a guy. They will foam at the mouth and like, when it comes to idol culture, unicorns are something you just don't want to fuck with, because that is a level of crazy that even I would not want to touch with a 20-foot pole. Basically, unicorns are an idol, kind of like an idol term for like people who want their Oshi, their idol, to stay pure, right? To stay pure and not be tainted by, being in the vicinity of like the opposite gender. And it's not just like with female VTubers either. It's also with the guys too. There's a lot of instances where there are female unicorns who will absolutely foam at the mouth and throw tantrums if they dare see, like just getting a DM from like a fellow genmate. Like, unicorns are just weird, man. They are weird. And usually they're not usually unicorns sometimes don't even like go with like corporate VTubers, right? I've seen unicorns pop up in like small indie VTubers who are absolutely rabid fans or diehard fans. Like, and I'm talking about like ride or die fans, right? Ride or die fans of a certain VTuber, and if they smell anything that's getting too close to their Oshi, they turn weird, man. I've had a couple of instances where I've had my run-ins with unicorns from other VTubers because I was friends with certain female VTubers. And I mean, like, we weren't even in a relationship, right? We weren't even in like a relationship. We were just like friends. And I had one guy just message me and was very, very standoffish because I entered the Discord server of a VTuber that they were obsessed with, and was like badgering me, like, what is my relationship with them? How long have I known them? How well do I know them? It's weird. I don't get that way even with the most handsome person. They are human. Humans have needs and desires, but also I'm normal about idle shit. No, and that's the thing. And that's the thing, right, Sin? That's called you're just a normal fucking person, right? You know, it's literally like the phrase, like, they're not gonna go out with you, bro. Like, why are you this defensive over them? They're not gonna go out with you. That's where the mom and me wants to smack these people with the chancla. Oh, please do. Now, look, if you smack someone with a chancla, you might be you might be tried for murder because that is a weapon of mass destruction. But no, like I have screenshots. That's the thing with me, right? Is that I am a guy that keeps his receipts when it comes to shit like this. And I have had I've kept screenshots of like one of these unicorns threatening me with hoping that I step on a bamboo spike because I was close to their Oshi, right? Because like for a while, me and this other VTuber would kind of like tag each other and like post and stuff like that and whatnot. And a couple of them were a little nutso, right? A little nutso butso. And the one that I'm talking about, yeah, no, he went over the line and was completely utterly nutso butso, where again, threatening me that hoping that I step on a bamboo spike. And was quoting like Vietnam War stuff. It was, oh god, it was a trip. It was definitely a trip. A lot of VTubers, a lot of VTubing is just it definitely is, and we'll kind of go back into and we'll circle around about the whole parasocialism stuff because it does portray two male VTubers, and it's one of I would consider like one of the pitfalls for male VTubing as a whole, right? Oh no, screw that. I'll get my cast iron. That'll do more damage and knock some sensitivity. Oh, please do. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, is that you're not going to cure stupid, right? You're not going to cure stupid. And the thing is that these people will latch onto an Oshi. They will ride or die with this person until they graduate. Right? And then once they graduate, then they're done. Then they'll just move on to the next Oshi. Dude, that happened to my friend. He's a bigger streamer who has seen some females wanting to collab with him, and the males in her chat will be hostile towards him because he isn't worshiping the fart she toots. It's it's weird, and again, it doesn't just portray to female VTubers. There are male VTubers who are like that too. It's very common with female VTubers just because of the fact that most if not, I wouldn't say most, but a good chunk of VTubing audiences are male to female. So what I mean by that is male audience, female streamer, right? That's a good chunk of them. Not all, again, hashtag not all, but it is the way how it is sometimes. It has to do with a lot of VTubing being, in my opinion, a extension of the anime community. Oh, it is. Oh, it absolutely 100% is. It's kind of like a weird mishmash and a weird amalgamation of not just like not just like anime stuff, but also the idol scene as well, because VTubing did kind of start off as like an idol culture kind of thing. See, the chocolate is the tame item. The worst is the electric cord. Honestly, yes. You kind of sometimes you kind of need that. But no, like I would say VTubing had its roots in idol culture, and as such, a lot of these unicorns and a lot of these hyper overpossessive fans kind of like embody the whole like idol culture kind of stuff, right? And it's one of the reasons why I don't blame people for wanting a hidden relationship when it comes to VTubing. Like, and then it also kind of like just goes back to the whole like boyfriend girlfriend experience kind of streams, and the whole parasocialism, which I will say this, you know, I have heard a few VTubers say like you kind of sort of need a little bit of parasocialism. I don't know. I don't think that's true, because for me personally, I like to think that, you know, all you guys are well-rounded, well-adjusted, you know, men and women, and you guys will be perfectly fine without me, you know, and you know, like whenever I'm around. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is not forever, right? This stuff is not forever. And it's something that I have wanted to do right out the gate, is nip the parasocialism in the bud, because it can get really, really dicey. Because that stuff will only amp up. That's the problem, is that it will only amp up. Because if someone's that parasocial with you from the get-go, now just imagine as the years roll on, it's going to get worse. It is definitely going to get worse. I think it's just a preference when it comes to it does have its positives and it does have its negatives. The positives is that you do have a very loyal audience that will come in and will be happy that you're here, right? You know, they'll sit there and be happy that you're here, and it's all hunky-dory, fine and dandy and all that kind of stuff. That's just normal people, right? That is absolutely 100% normal people. Now, the bad side is what I just previously mentioned, with the whole, like, you know, hyper possessive, feral, you know, fandom and all that kind of stuff, right? Let's see, people get too attached in an unhealthy way. Yes, and I don't think the COVID lockdown, I think also kind of like made that a little bit worse as well, because you really didn't have any human contact, and then you had the rise of VTubing back in like 2020 through 2021. So you have like really the only form of human contact is this anime character who can, you know, move and talk with you in real time and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's also kind of where it comes from. I do think people just need to be safe and cautious. True. A good example of like a parasocial fan that went completely off the fucking chain was Kamimi, the little clown VTuber, which honestly, watching her streams, she's fucking funny, right? She is absolutely funny. I love Camilla. I love her little interactions with Vidal. I love Camila. But the thing that happened with her was absolutely fucking bonkers, because it could, and the scariest thing is that it could happen to anybody at any meet and greet. And it's not just like to the bigger people, like say Silvervale or Camilla. It could happen to me. It can happen to you as a VTuber. You just don't know. And that's the scariest thing about meeting your fans and doing like meet and greets and stuff like that. And accepting gifts from fans, because basically, if you don't know what happened with the whole Camilla situation, was that, so Camilla did a meet and greet, right? She did like a little meet and greet for her fans, and she went to a convention, and one of her fans, I think he gave her a teddy bear. I think it was a teddy bear, where, unbeknownst to Camilla, he put a tracking device in it. He did a tracking device. So what happened was that when she took the gift home, and the thing is like so before all this, she would take gifts from all of her fans, right? Because her fans absolutely adore her, and that's rightfully so. She's an absolute little treasure, but that's besides the point. So basically, she went back home, and while she was streaming, yeah. This actually happened. And it was caught on stream and clipped. There are clips of it where she's streaming. I think if she was doing a subathon, I think it was a subathon. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, so basically it was during like a subathon. I don't want to play it just because, you know, it's bad taste to like be like, hey, look what happened to this traumatic event. No, but like basically during her, I want to say it was a streamathon or subathon, either way. Basically during like one of her athons was that basically what happened was that a fan tracked down where she lived and was banging on her garage door with a hammer. And then apparently it was the same guy that gave her this gift. So they called the cops. Luckily, Camilla had like a little button on her desk that basically was like an oh shit panic button. And she was armed. I'm glad that people, you know, arm themselves. Because here's the thing about me is that I'm a proud patriot. I love my country. I think my country is amazing. I love the Second Amendment. I think everyone should have the right to bear arms. And the fact that Camilla actually did that, you know, practiced her Second Amendment right to defend her home, good on her. Good on her on that one. But yeah, they came in and arrested the guy. And the guy was like, oh no, I'm a friend of Camilla. I was just pranking her. With a sledgehammer. Yeah, no, with a motherfucking sledgehammer, yes. And then she had to relocate, right? She had to relocate to a new location, and her phone almost gave away her address. And there's a clip of that too, where she had to scream over her phone, giving out her address. I think it was by complete accident. And this happened right after this whole event too. So you can imagine how like poopy pants, like shit scared she was. Right? So yeah, no, like parasocialism in the VTubing scene is no fucking joke. It is absolutely not a joke. But yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do is that I'm just kind of setting the stage here. Right? I'm kind of setting the stage here for what we're about to talk about, because again, Asmongold is it only takes one bad apple. It really does take one bad apple, because after this whole event, she stopped taking in gifts. She stopped taking in gifts. She stopped doing in-person meet and greets. And you could tell like she was really heartbroken about this, because she loved it. She really loved doing that kind of stuff. And I would love that. Granted, I am also trained to, I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but like I am trained on how to kill people. Being in the military, I am trained on how to kill people. So I mean, like if you do try to like do something with me, I am trained in close quarters. I know how to EO and put a stranglehold on you. The thing is, like in my military training days, I was very known for grappling and strangling. Just saying. And I'm a big guy. I'm like 6 foot and I'm built like a tank. But yeah, like not to sit there and flex or anything. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I would love to do meet and greets, but if anyone wants to try something, and it ain't gonna be pretty if you're gonna rock up to an army guy. I'm just saying. But no, like I said, I'm just kind of like setting the stage for what we're about to watch, because I know Asmongold is a very divisive person, to say the least. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm not even like doing like this whole, you know, my whole spiel of like, oh, well, I'm a proud affiliate with blah, 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 because I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and do this first, and then we'll do all the fun little jokey joke, oh, look at the cool toy stuff later as like a little bit of a palate cleanser, because it is going to be a subject. So I'm just letting you know. And I will 100% say this before we start going. Again, please be civil. You may not like Asmongold. I understand that. Me personally, I don't mind him. He has some points that I do agree with. He also has points that I vehemently disagree with. And that's okay. Like, when it comes to my community, you guys are smart. You know, you guys are smart. You guys are level-headed, you know, men and women, adults. And we can all have nice conversations. So with that being said, everybody, while I get this going. Okay. So, this is Asmongold. Hi, Emoji. How you doing? Welcome in. But yeah, so this is Asmongold on Male Vtubers. Again, we are 100% going to be civil. We will be civil. You may not like him. You may not like his take. There are things on this take that I do agree with, and there are things that I disagree with. Right? So we're going to have a nice, good old discussion. Let me increase that volume here. Okay, so this is the viral thing that's been kind of trending lately. So
you see HoloLive is going to cut support for their male VTubers,
which honestly, that sucks. That does suck.
So male VTubers are over.
Yep. All right, guys, pack it up. All right. I'm graduating, everyone. Male VTubing is over. HoloStars is done. Male VTubing is over. I am packing it in. Let us all. This is my last stream, everyone. It's been nice knowing you guys.
Based? Yeah, based? So, yeah, I mean, VTubing is all about girls. It is. It's a girl thing. Now, there are guys that are VTubers, and, you know, more power to them. Good for them. But the reality is that VTubing is a female activity.
Now, yes. Now, I will say this, is that he is correct. But this is also kind of like a common thing. You know, this is common knowledge that, yes, I wouldn't say VTubing is a girl's thing, but I will say VTubing is definitely female dominated. I wouldn't even say dominated. The majority of VTubing is women. Like, let's be honest here. That is the case. Again, about 80 to 90% of all VTubers are women. There's a reason why male VTubing, you know, jokingly wise, male VTubing male VTubers are very rare. But again, it's a joke. But yes, it is definitely female dominated.
VTubing is it's like a clever use of game mechanics, like an exploit basically, where women can stream without having to be hot.
Now, I wouldn't say that, but also it is also true that, like, if you're someone like me who's not conventionally attractive, like I consider myself not very attractive, right? You can stream as a very hot anime character, which is true. Right? And then also sometimes, like, and this is also for, like, you know, I guess for like women as well, like, because you don't have to like sit there and like put on like makeup and all that kind of stuff like a lot of other like face cam streamers. You could just literally roll out of bed in your, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas pajamas, looking like you just came out of a Kiss concert from the rain, and just drudge over to the computer and scratch your left butt cheek and go in like, all right, I'm streaming. Hi, Biru. Welcome in. We're gonna be having a nice conversation about what Asmongold said. So buckle in.
And this is a huge thing.
And I will say this is also like I will also partially agree to what he said about it being like a gameplay mechanic feature, because yes, some people do VTube as like, I wouldn't say like a mask or a cope, but it is something I would say more of like a shield, right? It's something that was more of like a shield to where like they're probably too shy, right? You know, they're too shy to really kind of show their face. So, you know, sometimes, yes, streaming without a webcam and only using your voice, that's fine. That's fine, right? But at the same time, humans are also very visual based creatures, right? They are let's be honest here about humans, right? Humans on average are a very visual based creature. We want to have a face to go with something. Now, yes, you can fill in your brain can fill in the gaps of what my voice sounds like, right? Like if I were to do this, right? If I were to do where is it at here? Where's it at? So if I were to do this and you guys don't see my face, you guys don't see anything, right? It's just my voice. What would you say I sound like? Right? What would you say Okay, there we go. Sorry. I accidentally bumped my mic. But yeah, so I'm just saying, what if you don't see me. You don't see me. You just hear my voice, which is fine, right? I could sit here and just stream all day like this, right? Can't hear you. Yeah, that's because I accidentally bumped my cable like a ding dong. That's because I bumped my cable like a ding dong. but you get my point though, right? Like we are very much a visual based creature. Like, yes, streaming without a webcam is fine, right? It is fine. But we want to have a face. And if you don't want to show your actual face for streaming, that's fine. That's totally fine. And this is one of the beauties, and then we'll get to the more of this later on. But that's one of the beauties of being a VTuber. Right? That's one of the beauties of being a VTuber, is the anonymity.
Because, and I've said this before, is that if you look at the top 50 male streamers, the top 100 male streamers, there's going to be a lot of ugly dudes on that list.
Now, and I will say this, look at Queso. Queso is a very big man. He's not a very visually attractive man, but what makes him charming is not his looks, but it's his personality. If you don't know Queso is a very bulbous man. He's a fat guy, right? He's a fat guy. He's a ginger. He's got wily hair, and he's fat. Even his community makes fun of him for this. But what makes him very appealing is that he is also very charming. He's very charismatic. He's energized. That's what, he makes up for that. And that's why we love Queso for it.
If you look at the top 50, the top 100 female streamers, every single one of them is going to be at least above average. And
True. A lot of female streamers are, on average, very conventionally attractive. Not a lot, but a good chunk of them, right? Let's be honest. Like as much as I don't like people like Pokimane, I don't like Pokimane, but I will say, yes, she is a very attractive woman. True.
Because they're hot. That's the reason why it's so obvious and everybody knows it. But people don't want to say this, but it's obviously true. So, and two of your mods are male VTubers. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, there it is. Two of my mods are.
Yeah,
male
actually, so funny thing is that I didn't even know that he had like male VTuber. He has male VTuber mods, and that's actually kind of cool.
Well, yeah, and listen, guys, listen. Yeah, well, now you guys shouldn't join Hollow Live, okay? Wait, I didn't know it was two of them. I thought it was just one. They've multiplied now. We have two of them now. Oh my god.
See here, I think the notion that the person's attractiveness gets a huge leg up in the content is kind of weird. I think for the short term it can be held, but right, yes, like your attractiveness will, and that's the thing, like being attractive is not the be all to end all, right? It's not the be all to end all. But what it is that it kind of brings people in. You know, being attractive as a streamer is part of the battle. And I wouldn't even say half the battle. It's part of the battle. But what really is, if not a good chunk of the battle, is your personality, right? And this is something that I'm seeing a lot of, I guess you could say a lot of newer VTubers are falling into this trap, where they think if they can buy the hottest model, right? Exactly. No, exactly. Look at Pokimane, for example. I think Pokimane, you know, in terms of her personality, she's absolutely fucking hideous. In terms of her personality, absolutely fucking disgusting. Even though she herself is very conventionally attractive. But again, mileage may vary. Some people might disagree. Some people agree. A lot of people agree. But what I'm trying to say, though, is that your scale of hotness can only do so much. It's your personality, right? Right? It's your personality. So you can have the hottest model in the world, right? You can have like the creme de la creme hottest model. Good Lord, I'm jizzing in my pants just by looking at you. Please cover up because you are so fucking hot. I can't control the flow of my semen. You know, that kind of hotness, right? And you can have the best rigger in the world. You can have, you know, the love child, the love butt baby child of like Kevin and any of the riggers who do HoloLive models. You can have that, right? And it's a 200 out of 10 gorgeous thing, right? But if your personality is shit and you're kind of boring, it ain't gonna do much for you. Congratulations. You basically just threw thousands of dollars down the pooper. Right? If people come to your stream and you're boring, right? And some people might like boring. Some people might like it, right? Some people like dry. Me personally, I'm dry as shit. Right? My model is gorgeous, right? And I'm not even like, stroking my ego. I know my model's attractive. It's a very attractive model, but I'm also a very dry and a very, if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Exactly. No, exactly. That's exactly it. Like for me, my model, it's attractive, right? But for me, my personality, I'm very dry. I'm very slow. I'm very calm. Although, yes, occasionally I will slip out, some unhinged shit, right? That's just how I am. But you get the idea, though. Yeah, your attractiveness only can take you so far. So he does have a point. He does have a point in some degree.
How the fuck did we get a second one, man? And
they're just popping out of the woodworks, man. Just popping out of the woodwork.
Anyway, so
hey, Paleo, how you doing?
Here's the way I see it, right? Is that if you're like male VTubers serve no purpose. They have no, like, there's no reason for somebody to be a male VTuber because that, like, the value that people get out of VTubing is the fantasy of the character. The male people that are watching are not, they don't need to fantasize about a male character. So there's no real, there's no incentive that they're getting out of it. Sorry, Adelie. Sorry, but that, I mean, I'm right. I'm right about that.
Okay. Honestly, that was just a joke and a little jab at his mod. But no, so this is where I would disagree. This is where I would disagree with this guy. There is a purpose for male VTubers, right? There is a purpose for male VTubers. And that being, some people just want a hot, sexy, attractive anime man. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. Now, I will say this. as someone who is a male VTuber, right? As someone who is a male VTuber, dry and witty is awesome, though. I wouldn't even consider myself witty. I would just consider myself an asshole, where I'm constantly heckling and bullying people. But I am very dry, yes. Try asking anyone about my jokes. My jokes are terrible because I myself am not a comedian. I am a very, very dry person. And I'm very blunt. In fact, it's actually to the point where people find it funny that I'm actually so blunt about things. Right? What was I at? Oh yeah, so when it comes to male VTubers, also we're on an ad break, so I'll just keep going. But what I'm saying though is about male VTubers is that it is hard. Male VTubing is hard. Hell, if you look at a lot of male VTubers, not a lot of them, not a whole lot of them, hardly, like, we'll say, let's take an example, right? Let's take an example. Monty Python and other comedies gave me dry humor. Same. That's also one of the reasons why I think my humor is so dry, because I watched a lot of Monty Python and the Holy Grail growing up. But no, it is hard. It is a very hard thing to do. I would say you are both. I'm an asshole and I'm dry. Yes, very much so. I'm a dry butthole, everybody. Guys, I'm a dry asshole. I need some lotion. I'm a hemorrhoid. I need some lotion for my butthole, please. And well, thank you, Beaver. That means a lot. But no. So when it comes, like, let's just say, hypothetically speaking. Let's say hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say there are 5 VTubers. 5 VTubers. Let's say 2 of them are female, 3 of them are male. Right? The 2 female VTubers will climb up quicker because, again, that's how things work. Now, you take the 3 male VTubers and maybe one of them. Maybe 2, but definitely one of them. All right, no, I take it back. Let me rewind that. 2 of them. Hi, Jackie. How you doing? We're talking about male VTubers because this Asmongold thing has been popping up, and I've always wanted to have a discussion about male VTubers. But as I was saying, is that now out of the 3 male VTubers, right? Now the 2 male or the 3 male VTubers, 2 of them will take off somewhere. One of them will get to probably somewhere around the same level as, like, the 2 female VTubers. The other 2 will either stick to where they are or they'll graduate. It's very, very very rare that you will see male VTubers climb up to, to the levels of, like, some of these other, like, female VTubers. And I'm not even talking about people like, say, like Shy Lily, right? Shy Lily, Cinder, Silverveil, all that stuff. They're a league of their own. I'm just talking about, like, where they can actually make it as a VTuber as, like, a full-time job. As much as I get what he says, but he's putting it a lot onto women in VTubing, like how they can hide their face and their attractiveness. When I do think a lot of problem comes from how anime in general is male focused, almost all fan service. I think this industry is kind of form around, in my opinion, and that's fine, and that's totally okay. Now, and one of the things I love about anime is that it is, well, yes, anime is very male focused. Now, the other thing is that there is a ton, and I do mean a ton, of anime that is solely focused on female-oriented fan service. A good example is Ouran High School Host Club. Good example of that is Ouran High School Host Club. A lot of sports anime are like that, right? You could argue Baki. You can argue Baki is. You can argue, One Piece with a lot of, how the males or how the men are. There's a lot of female fan service anime. There is, yes. Another really good example is Free. Free is an anime. It's a swimming anime where it's a all male swim team. Right? It's an all male swim team. And it's almost entirely just, money shots of like the boys swimming, and they're drenched with like sweat and water going down their rippled bodies. Like it is meant for women in mind. And coming from the cosplay scene, and that's the fun, and that's the thing about me, is that I did come from like the cosplay scene, and I did chat with like a lot of like female cosplayers who are genuine like anime fans. They love, like, even like some female fans love this like male oriented fan service. Not all, but some. But a good chunk of them do. I mean, like, if you disagree, that's fine too. Like, again, we're having a discussion here. Like that is the thing I ask, is that we're just having a discussion here.
Be proven wrong, and I've been waiting for a long time. Okay, anonymity is the reason. Well, you can just stream without a webcam. I mean, you can do that.
And that's what I was talking. And that's what I was talking about. Is that we could stream without a like. We don't really need to be VTubers, right? VTubing is a luxury now more than ever nowadays. VTubing is a luxury, especially with considering how expensive. Hi, Carno, how you doing? Considering how expensive VTubing models are nowadays. Yeah, no, VTubing as a whole is a luxury. We could stream right now, like I mentioned earlier. I could just turn off my. I could just do this. But again, we are a visual kind of creature, and we would like to have a face to go with the voice. And having a VTuber model, whether it be a live 2D model or a Vroid model, it's the next best thing to having like your face to go with the voice while you stream.
For example, I mean, you don't need an avatar. I mean, I guess if you want to do it, that's fine. But I think that there's a lot of, and this is true, and I will say this, and this might get me in trouble, and I hope so. That way I can make content about it tomorrow. But a lot of the girls that do VTubing, not all of them, many of them are attractive, but basically every single unattractive girl that's successful in streaming is a VTuber.
Yes and no. I have seen some, like a good chunk of female VTubers. I have seen a lot of them. Now, some of them, yes. And this also goes for guys too. I have seen some pretty unattractive males and females as VTubers, but a lot of like very successful VTubers I have personally seen are absolute fucking knockouts. Especially when they do like their immersion breaking and they show off what they look like. I'm just like, whoo, damn, holy shit. Especially like whenever I see like male VTubers do this kind of stuff too. Again, this is coming from someone who's extremely fucking straight, right? I'm extremely goddamn straight. And even I'm just like, oh damn, this dude's built like a fucking brick house, and Jesus Christ, this dude is attractive. It's personality and content that I watch for rather than these. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will want it to now the sex appeal will get people in. I'm good chilling. Just going to just chilling on my day off. How have you been? We're doing good right now. We're just kind of like talking about this whole Asmongold stuff that popped up that got everyone in a twist basically. And again, he does have some points that I agree with, but there's also some stuff that I disagree with. This is one of them where, a lot of female VTubers are conventionally unattractive. That's not true, but also beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I will say. Who you might say like this person here is very unattractive and she looks like Jabba the Hutt, where some other people are like, nah, she's a beautiful flower. I even lose interest in a VTuber if they lean too much into fan service, and that's fine. That's perfectly A-okay. Now, if the fan service is their core personality, like I have seen with a lot of bigger VTubers, I don't watch them anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. And I think it's just probably because I'm getting older and my tastes have changed. And so here, I can agree on an interesting model. It can, yeah. The best way I can describe this is that kind of picture your model is a billboard, right? Picture your model as a billboard where this is all you see. Like, without even looking, not even, okay, let's just have a scenario here. You don't know me. This is your first time seeing me. If you saw this, would you come check it out? Again, you don't know me. You don't know what my interests are. You don't know, what I'm like. You don't know what my hobbies are. For all you know, my hobbies include shoving grapes up my ass. You don't know. But if you saw this model, would you check out my channel? Would you? Be honest here. Be honest. Again, you don't know what I am. For all you know, I like to go punch dwarves on Sundays. And laugh at I go and laugh at the orphanage. I could be an absolute monster. But the thing is, though, is that this will get you, this will draw you in. Because you see, oh, hot, sexy anime man. I want to check this guy out. And then you realize, oh, this guy's an absolute fucking cringe goober. Oh my god, what the fuck? But no, like, your model is your billboard. It's your advertisement. People will then be drawn in because they want to know more about this sexy anime character. And then it's your personality. Your personality is the main show, right? Your personality is your main show.
Every single one. Guaranteed. Every single fucking one. And so maybe there's like a couple of exceptions on TikTok or something like that, but I guess I can't say every single one. I can say 99%.
Again, I wouldn't even say 99. I would say probably about a good 50-50 split, if you were to ask me. Okay. But again, this is coming from someone who has a preferred taste in how I find, women attractive. You know what I'm saying? Again, you may find this one person attractive who looks like Humpty Dumpty, who fucked, what's the villain from the latest Shrek movie? What's his fucking name? The guy who likes to stick his thumb in pies and stuff like that. I don't fucking know his name. But that, and you might think that's really attractive. I might find that very, I might find that, revolting. I do find as you grow older in the VTubing space, your taste changes significantly, especially when it comes to the content and the personality of the VTubers you watch. True. Like, I wouldn't say growing up, but when I first started watching VTubing, I was watching a lot of like lewd content creators and stuff like that because I was a bit of a gooner. I'm still a bit of a fucking gooner. I don't deny this. I'm a absolute feral gooner sometimes. It's one of the reasons why I don't play Nikkei anymore. But no, like, as I grew older in the VTubing scene, my taste went from like, now, and I still follow and I will like posts by like Ebiko and other lewd VTubers, but I don't watch them anymore. I used to watch Vexoria, but I found Vexoria to be kind of stale. And I'm not saying that she's a bad VTuber. No, it's just for my taste, she's grown stale. And I don't watch her anymore. And I'm watching more kind of cozy and I would say more of like VTubers who are more like me. A little bit cozy, a little bit chaotic, somewhere in the mix of in between. I'll watch looter VTubers every once in a while, but for the most part, I like to stick with like cozy, relaxing, and very chaotic people. Oh, there we go. Hang on, crap. There we go. Let's see here. I was drawn to you by because of the shenanigans you cause. Right. But Ranma, I'm talking about like I'm not talking about like my shenanigans. I'm talking more of like, again, I'm not asking how you found me. I'm asking like, again, if you saw this, would you come and check out my channel? If you did not know me, again, wipe every memory of me out of your brain. You don't know me. And you saw this for the first time. Would you come and check out the channel? What I'm trying to get at is that your model is your billboard. It is your advertisement. Your hobbies and your personality are the main show. They're the main event. Right? I like Luca because she's very cozy but quirky. Exactly. No, I like Luca too. I like the horse girl. I'm actually starting to like more and more of like Umari Tomoe, because she's also very quirky, but also very calming. But also, you know, I got to support my fellow army men, my fellow, you know, servicemen as well. Because again, you know, I'm a proud patriot. We support our service members. That's one of my big things here, but that's neither here or there. But people's tastes do change, and that's okay. I'm not sitting here saying like you must watch everything that I do no matter what. See here, I see here. Also, thank you for the headbats. There we go. If I saw your model without knowing you, I definitely check you out. Exactly. No, that's exactly what I was that's what I was talking about. See here, I still follow people I used to watch and wish them well. And that right there is a very professional way of how to handle things, right? See here, I still follow and I still people that I used to watch and wish them well. Let me scroll back up because, you know, see here. But I gravitate towards other content now. However, chaotic VTubers still have my heart, and I will dabble and watch. And that's fine. That's perfectly a-okay. Like for me, like I said, my stuff is very much mixed. Where I will watch chaotic, bonkers ass streamer like Kira P. I will forever watch Kira P. I will never stop simping over the fact of how proud I am of that VTuber, because of just how much she have progressed since I first met her. I will never stop simping over, and that's one of the only VTubers I will sit there and simp for because I am so proud of that fucking woman.
Oh, that's.
But I'm also watching more of like people like say Terrorizu because she's very cozy and very comfy, and a bunch of other like calmer streamers now.
Said hate threat, etc. Yeah, and that's the truth. And so if you're an ugly chick, you better get a VTuber model. You do. And I get that other ones do it for anonymity purposes. Other ones do it just
that's what I do.
They don't want to have themselves out there all the time.
Well, I would say okay. So I started VTubing because I did not feel comfortable showing my face. Right? I did not feel comfortable showing my face. It's why for a while I posted like mainly like Power Ranger cosplays and stuff like that if I did do IRL pictures and stuff, because I just didn't feel comfortable showing my face. Now VTubing as a whole has made me a lot more confident in my appearance. Right? Has made me a lot more confident in my appearance. So now I'm starting to show my face more often. I am wanting to do more of like face cam streaming and stuff like that. Right? So no, like I totally get why people want to do VTubing for the anonymity.
More power to them, all the best to them. I have nothing against it.
Sure.
I think that this other component needs
to
be acknowledged because it is real. And
I would say it is real, but it's also partially true. I will say that.
So that's all there is to it.
So there we go. That is the Asmongold, and that's the Asmongold thing that's been going around. That's been getting people pretty much all up in arms and getting their knickers in a bunch, if you will. Again, feel free to disagree with Asmon, right? Feel free to... Feel free to disagree with Asmongold, which, if you do, if you 100% disagree with Asmongold, totally understandable. Totally understandable. I know Asmongold is not for everybody. Me personally, there are points that he makes that I do agree with, but I don't agree with him on everything. I'm doing very good, Lilac. We just had a very big conversation. But how are you doing? But yes, so now, and what I will say this about male VTubers, right? What I will say this about male VTubers is that I have seen male VTubers kind of fall into these like little pitfall traps where a lot of them do try to, and we'll also circle back around to what I was saying earlier about Niji Sanji and all that kind of stuff. So what I see a lot of male VTubers do is that they do try to carve out the market for that not male but female audience, but also not just like the female audience, but like I heard someone like referred to as like the female gooner audience, where there's like the male gooner audience for like looter female VTubers, if you get what I'm trying to say, where they'll do the daddy kind of like streamers, the soft boy streamers, the boyfriend experience streamers, and all that kind of stuff. They will do that, and they will try really hard to try to carve a niche for that market, which one, it's a very small market to begin with. Oh, well, I'm very sorry that you're sick, but I'm glad you're doing okay. But yes, so that kind of audience has already been kind of taken up by Niji Sanji, because the thing with Niji Sanji is that their boys lean very, very heavily into that female gooner demographic. They really, really, and I'm not even saying this to be like, oh, you're being like a so-and-so. No, I'm being dead serious. A lot of their boys will 100% lean heavily into the female gooner demographic, where they will do things like, you have Vox Akuma basically saying that I just burped right into your pussy. Or you have things like Vox Akuma fingering raw chicken while he's doing ASMR. You know exactly what he's doing. You know exactly what this is for. Like, don't sit there and deny it. This is exactly what, like, you know what he's exactly doing with this kind of shit, right? And I see a lot of male VTubers kind of lean into it. They'll get these very attractive male models, and they'll try to carve out a niche that's already been taken up, and it's already a very small niche already. And like, if you want to do that, right? And I'm not sitting here bashing, right? I'm not sitting here bashing on like, I'm not sitting here bashing on like people who want to do that, right? If you want to do the boyfriend experience stream, go on ahead. There's clearly, you will make money. You will 100% make money. You will make money doing ASMR, and you will make money doing boyfriend experience streams. Go on, have fun, king. I salute you, sir. Not for me. I will never do that. Although I will say, if I actually do a boyfriend experience stream, it is 100% for the shits and giggles, because I find them cringe. Like, I do not care. I find them to be very cringy. And for me, I don't like it because it feeds off of parasocialism, and you're kind of just selling something that's not there. Yeah, definitely. I think that guys can definitely get into the female service, because it's there as a gooner myself. Yeah, see, so no, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As a female gooner myself, there is a market. It just needs to be tapped into correctly, and just say it's safe and be cautious to cultivate it. No, exactly. And there were some other things that some people have brought up as well. Like, today I was also watching a lot of dinosaur stuff, but I was also watching other VTubers talk about it. I was watching people like Smugalana talk about it. I was watching Banana Juju talk about this. And the thing is, like, I've been watching Banana Juju for years. Like, Banana Juju was actually, like, one of, like, my very first VTubers I sat down and watched. Right? She was actually one of my very first VTubers I sat down and watched. Show hole coward. Wait, what hole? Are you talking about my butthole? I will never show butthole. Because I am the butthole. How you doing, Dubs? We just got done talking about Asmongold. And that I'll say this again. There were points in his argument I do agree with, but there were also arguments in there that I did not agree with. It's a mixed bag, because I mentioned this in a few things as well, in a few posts, that he brought really nothing to the table that was new. But again, there are things that I do agree with and things I disagree with. But when it back to like male VTubing, there needs to be like a point where it's okay for a male VTuber to just kind of be themselves without really, trying to really lean into the female, fan service and stuff like that. There does need to. But sorry, again, what I was saying was like, again, sorry if everything's like completely out of order and stuff. It's, again, something that I don't really cover all too often, or even like outwardly. This is literally my first time really covering something that is anything remotely controversial. So again, sorry if like everything's just all discombobulated and out of order. Wait, what do you mean by weak? We mean by weak. But yeah, so like I said, sorry if everything's a little bit discombobulated, just because, again, this is something I never really cover. Because I always make it my thing to where I never really cover anything that's really controversial or anything political or anything like that. So this is really like my first time really like being open about opinions about things, you know what I'm saying? But fuck, I completely forgot. Because, like I said, I was watching Banana Juju and Smugalana kind of bring this up. I forgot what Banana Juju said, but it was actually kind of... It was kind of true, because it's like... Because when it comes to, like... fuck, I have to go over and look at it again, but I completely forgot what the fuck it was. But yeah, so, like... This was something that I was... kind of like, do I want to talk about this? But I'm also like, no, I do want to kind of talk about it, because male VTubing as a medium has always been something that I have been really kind of like very interested in wanting to discuss, because it's something that really isn't really, it's overly talked about, but it's not really talked about. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things until someone like brings it up like every so often. I was saying here, wait, because you want to show, but oh, okay. No, okay, I get you. Like, honestly, okay, Dubs, honestly, I physically cannot turn around. I am a live 2D anime man. I cannot turn around. I cannot show ass. And also, I will say this, IRL, I don't have an ass. Okay, I straight up just have Hank Hill's ass. My ass is very concaved. It is, like, I will say this, I'm flat as a fucking board back there. And, like, there's no amount of squats that can save it. There is not a single ounce of squatting that can help. Trust me, there isn't. I am literally built like a fucking Dorito. I have a big chest, I have big shoulders, I have a big something else, but I don't have a big ass. My ass is about as small as my bank account. My ass is as small as my goddamn bank account, and I hate that. But yeah, no, like, this was honestly a lot better than I thought. All in all, this was definitely a lot better than I thought, because I honestly thought I was going to get a lot more pushback. because again, this is something again I don't really cover. And to sit there and say, you know, I agree with Asmongold on some things, I honestly thought I was gonna. I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought I was gonna get chased out. If I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But no, like this was fun. This was genuinely interesting to look at. But yeah. Also, I'm gonna take a let's see here. Put pillows in your pants. No, like if I want to put pillows in my pants, I want to put them in, you know, put them on my crotch, so that way I have a bigger pee-pee. That way I have giganto pee-pee energy. But yeah. But I am going to take a quick little break. I'm going to take a quick little break real quick. I'm going to get something to drink real quick, and I'm going to go use the bathroom. And then when we return, we'll go over some other things, and then we'll see how things go from there. So I shall be right back, everybody. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Alright. Okay, so... hang on real quick. Okay, so... now we're gonna go do a little bit of a palate cleanser, if you will, after that, that discussion. Like I said, I normally don't go, you know, that deep into controversies and whatnot. Just because that's just not my field. But yeah, no, I thought that was kind of fun. I don't think I'll be doing that again, though. I don't think I'll be doing that again, though. Unless Asmongold does something else that's really fucking stupid. Or if I want to discuss about another clown like I don't know, like say Hassan Piker or some bullshit. But if I cover Hassan Piker, I'm just gonna play some fucking circus music because he's a goddamn clown. Okay, so... okay, so the one thing... so... let me see here. So I want to start off with this because there was a lot of stuff that dropped while I was away. Like this. So this right here. So this right here that just dropped was so these are blockies. So these are like little blind bag figures. And this got me really, really excited. And this is probably going to be the wave of blocky figures that are going to be the biggest detriment to my wallet. Because not only is it Beast Wars, but it's also the anime Beast Wars, which are probably my favorite out of the Beast Wars series in terms of like character designs. Because right out the gate, we get Big Convoy with the Matrix Buster Cannon. And anything with Big Convoy, I'm fucking sold on. But yeah, these aren't very big. These are just blind box figures. And if this is just going to be a whole wave of just the anime Beast Wars cast, I don't know. I kind of want to get the whole box set. Constantly checking for Shozi. Oh, okay. I got you. So here we have Lio Convoy. And that shit looks so good. Oh, that shit looks so good. What's weird, though, is that he comes with tonfas, which is something he never really had. Although the cape really just kind of completes this guy. Like, oh, he's so good. Just, oh my god, I fucking love this. Also, I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a slut for shoulder capes. I absolutely love me some shoulder capes. So this one's interesting. So this one right here. So this is technically the first time we've ever gotten. So this is actually not Nemesis Prime. This is actually a character known as Copy Convoy. So Copy Convoy comes from one episode of Beast Wars II where Lio Convoy finds a scanning device. He accidentally bumps it. And what came out was basically the first ever iteration of what we will know as Nemesis Prime. So, mine is the teal because he has ice blue, but this is pretty much one-to-one what will become Nemesis Prime later on. Now, this one, when I saw this made me flip my shit. This actually is what sold me. So, this is the Universe 1.0 Nemesis Prime. Now, what's significant about this one is that this is the big convoy mold that we got here in the United States back in the early 2000s. And boy, what a fucking color scheme to go with. So this is big convoy, but done up as Nemesis Prime. So he has all the hallmarks of Nemesis Prime. He's got his black, he's got his teal, he's got all the stuff. But what's really cool is that it actually comes with bloodied tusks, which means that Nemesis Prime actually went out and gored another animal. He gored a mammoth and didn't bother to clean up the blood. That is fucking metal as hell. But yeah, this really sold me. This right here is the figure that really sold me on all of this. And then here we have regular big convoy, which is my favorite Optimus. Let me see. Oh, wait, what? Oh, what? Oh, hold up. Oh, are these like two different pictures? Wait, are these two different figures? Hold up. Yeah, I think these are two separate figures. That, or he has interchangeable tusks. Yeah, wait, no, I think these might be two separate figures because one's got like the basic convoy / Optimus bone white, or just the regular white, and this one's got the bone white. So I'm wondering if these are two separate figures, and I think one of them might be a chase figure. Now, this is the one that really got me going. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah, so this really got me going. So this is Beast Wars the Second Galvatron. So in Beast Wars the Second, Galvatron is a pink space pirate who can turn into a tank and a dragon. He's not Megatron. He's not an upgraded Megatron. He is his own separate entity, and I believe this is the first time in an animated Transformers show where Galvatron and Megatron were two separate beings. Because what we will know as Megatron is he's known as Mega Storm. And he is the younger brother to Galvatron. And Galvatron, ever since his initial toy back in the 90s, he never got another figure. Like, at all. And until today. So, this is definitely going to be, like, my chase figure. I love this so much. And what's kind of funny is that in the anime, Galvatron does talk through his teeth. He actually does, and it's kind of funny. So here we have Magmatron. Now this one's kind of cool. So this here is Gigastorm. This is the upgraded variant of Megastorm. All this is basically just Trypticon with a like a scale pattern decal and a different headpiece. But it's cool that we actually get to have a Gigastorm. So this is actually the first time we've gotten a Gigastorm since the original toy. Which is really sad because Hasbro really could have done something with it for like Kingdom. Because all they really could have done was redo the Titans Return Trypticon, give it a new head, or like a new head crest, a new thing of stickers, and just send him off his merry way. So here we have Shatterglass Grimlock. There's G1 Ratchet, both in van and robot mode. Let me see here. Oh, hang on. I guess my internet said no today. Yep, I guess my internet said no today. Because, yep, there we go. There we go. Yep, so that is So that is Cliff Jumper. Like I said, you gotta be patient with me because the internet right now is not the best in the world right now. It's probably worse than my previous location. So here we have the scanned Galvatron from when he was being reformatted by Unicron. We got Sludge. And then we get Lyo Convoy. So this is definitely going to be like a wave full of like Beast Wars anime leaders. So that's kind of cool. So these are supposed to be slated for, I think, sometime this year. But this is going to be really bad for my wallet. This is actually going to be really, really, really bad for my wallet. If I'm going to be honest here. So this is weird as shit. So this is Masterpiece RC. But it is in her original toy coloring. So RC's original toy was going to look very, very different than what she looks like now. And this just looks like a fuchsia vomit crime scene as opposed to what we got. So she looks fine. I like her rifle, even though she is chicken winging in it. She should not be. This right here should not be a thing. This should be parallel. Should be facing downward, but that's neither here or there. She's got her visor and everything. So it's pretty much the same thing as the original Masterpiece RC. Been her original vintage toy coloring. So this, okay, so I saw this and I was like, why? Why does this need to exist? So this is, what is this? This is Oppo Suits. And I'm not too familiar with Oppo Suits or Oppo Suits. I would imagine they're very expensive. I would imagine these are very, very, very expensive. Yeah, okay, these are very expensive. Like $60 for, or $65 for a Transformer Beast Wars, for a Beast Wars Hawaiian shirt. With only, what? Cheetor and Optimus Primal. Yeah, no thank you. I'm good. And then you got this. This is like a suit. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a giant nerd. But if someone came up to me looking like this, I would tell them no thanks. Maybe for like a fun Friday kind of thing. But I don't know. I feel like this is a little much. I feel like with the printing and everything, because there's so many characters going on, this is visually just overload. Because it's, what? Transformer pants, Transformer coat, Transformers tie. It's a little much. It's a little much on the eyes, especially since you're asking $130 for this. Like, no thank you. Now, I'm kind of curious to see... Oh, they have onesies. I'm terrified to know how much the onesies cost. I don't buy onesies, so I don't know how expensive these would be. But these look cute. Well, I guess $35 isn't too much. I come back in my eyeballs. Yeah, no, exactly. No, exactly. These are visually just an onslaught, but these aren't too bad. Again, I don't own onesies. So I don't know if $44 for a onesie is fine. I have a Snuggie. I do have a Snuggie, and that is my like super comfy Jurassic Park Snuggie that I got for my birthday from you guys one year. Plus, that's a suit. There's literally nowhere that would be socially acceptable. I think exactly. Like, I love Transformers, right? Don't get me wrong. I love Transformers. But I would not really want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is something that also caught my eye. So this is the Beast Wars Predacon box set. So this is coming with a bunch of pre-release figures. Some of them were pretty they were kind of a pain in the butt to find. So that being so these are all Kingdom/Universe figures, right? My internet wants to cooperate. There we go. Or I guess not today. There we go. So this comes with basically your season 1 Beast Wars Predacon. So you have Megatron, Tarantulas, Black Arachnia, Scorponok, Waspinator, Inferno, and Pterosaur. I think Pterosaur was a special figure. I think it was a Hasbro Select figure. Or a Hasbro Pulse figure. But then you could also get it from the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, so... But these are supposedly to be more show accurate in color. Which I can definitely see that. As someone who owns the Kingdom Megatron, yeah, no, this looks far better. And this Megatron's not bad. I don't particularly mind it. I have the Masterpiece Megatron, so I don't know. I might pass on this because I'm just getting a double and then all this other kind of stuff as well. The Inferno looks really good. I really like this Inferno. I don't like his hands, though. I feel like they really fucked up on those hands because, my god, those are some tiny-ass little mittens. Pterosaur looks good. I don't like the Pteranodon's beak. I feel like the beak should kind of curve down just a little bit more. I get why it's a little bit boxy, because this is a retool of the Kingdom Air Razor mold, which I will say this, having a Transformer go from a proportionately decent robot mode to a Pteranodon is kind of hard, even if you're kind of cheating a little bit here and there. So I can understand why it's a little bit boxy. So there's Inferno again. Tarantulas, this looks good. I really like Tarantulas. Now, what's funny about Tarantulas is that, so originally he wasn't supposed to be purple, he was supposed to be brown. He was actually supposed to be just like a straight up brown tarantula, but they kind of changed his color scheme at the last minute because there was already too many brown toys on the shelves at the time, because you had things like Cheetor, who is yellow, Rhinox, who is brown, Rat Trap, who is gray and brown. You had Optimus Primal, who is gray. You had Dinobot, who is raw chicken color, but also can be brown. So you can kind of see where they were going with. Oh my god, I hate this internet so much. There you go. You know what? Actually, for the rest of it, we'll just do that. Fuck it. So yeah, the spider mode looks good. I do like the spider mode. His robot mode looks good too. I know this one really shelf warmed a lot when he was out on the stores. Black Arachnia is good too. Not really my favorite, but you know, that's neither here or there. Waspinator looks fine, but there's a third-party Waspinator that's coming out, so yeah. Then there's Scorponok, who also, I know for a fact, shelf warmed like crazy when he was out in stores. And from what I've been told, it's not the best mold in the world. Yeah, it's not the best mold ever. And they get like these little cards, like on the original toys, which I think is really, really cool. So we'll close that. All right, so it looks like Takara Tomy is releasing like a Stunticon set, but it's in the G2 colors. Which I think you can get it on HobbyLink. Let me check here. I don't know why I'm so stuffy. Ah, God. Yeah, I think you can get it on HobbyLink. Ah, yep, there it is. There he is right there. Which also, if you, which by the way, I am an affiliate with HobbyLinkJapan. This is your #1 hobby store in the world for all of your anime figure and your Gunpla needs. Use my chat command code !HLJ, take you directly to the website. If not, there is the panels down below. They do ship worldwide except for the Middle East. And also one of the best things about this is that it all comes straight from Japan. And it has a private warehouse system, so if you don't want everything to ship out right away, you can just ship them out individually or have it all in one big massive bulk. So, and also if you are building your model kits, I'm sure you're thirsty. So why don't you go check out my other sponsor, which is Waifu Wares. Use my chat command code waifu, take you directly to the website, and also once again, panels down below, and use my code GrarlBrown at checkout for 15% off on all your online purchases. So, this is the Menasor box set in the G2 colors. And, yeah, that is definitely G2. It is garish as all fuck. Yeah, Motormaster looks like absolute Technicolor vomit. You have, I believe that's Dead End. I do like this little addition here. It looks like oil slick. Or like some kind of paint. Dragstrip looks kind of normal, I guess you could say. No, I think this one's Dead End. That is uberly bright yellow. I think that's Breakdown. And Menasor himself looks fine. I've never really been a big fan of the Stunticons. They just always look so boring to me. Also, not gonna lie, I kind of want the cars here on the front instead of the back. But yeah. So that is the Stunticons. Now, this also was interesting. So, Eric Sabinaler is returning to Hasbro, which I believe, if memory serves me right, he was also the designer for things like Transformers Armada, Energon, Cybertron. So, I'm glad he's coming back. See here on his Instagram. Yeah, because I believe he helped work on toys like the Cybertron, I think it was like the Cybertron Armada Energon line, if memory serves me right, and I believe animated. So hopefully we can actually get some decent toys for the prices that they're asking us for. So, this also dropped. Yeah, no, those repaints are... Ooh, I don't like them. I don't like them at all. So, this is cool. So what this is that I believe this is a box set. Yep, so this is a box set. So, these are the Hiya Toys Mudos. And they are now just coming in with a 2-pack. So you get the female and the male Mudo. Which wait, how much is this? So it's coming in for about $116. And honestly, I feel like this is something they should have done a while ago. Now, It's fine if they wanted to release the Mudos separately, but honestly, I feel like these were honestly meant for a 2-pack. And for me, I always like the male Mudo a lot more. Just because, ooh, let me actually see. Oh, that's actually really good detailing. Like for the womb/egg sac here, that is really, really good. All of like the little eggs are individually painted, looks like sculpted with like the embryos inside. Oh yeah, no, this is good. They look good. Yeah, no, these look really, really good. Now, I'm wondering, with the female Mudo... Hang on real quick. Okay, yeah, so with the female Mudo, I'm wondering, can you detach her head to recreate the Kiss of Death from Godzilla 2014? Or does the 2014 Godzilla come with, like, a separate head accessory? So that's one of my biggest things. But I'm definitely going to be placing a pre-order for this guy. Or for these two. So moving on to Kang Toys. So and also I want to look at this little guy here. Oh no, he's right there. Okay. Yeah, so for Kang Toys here, they just dropped the prototype images for Scorn. For their, what they're calling their hero class version of Scorn. So what this is that this is chug scale. So this is probably a deluxe class scaled version of their Scorn figure. So let's see here. So about 9 inches. Yeah, so it's about deluxe scale. Deluxe / like Voyager size. And it looks good. It actually looks really, really good. They've been knocking it out of the park with these smaller variants of their combiner. Now, it looks like Scorn comes with like an extra piece that was not in the larger scale, and that is that little spear. Because the larger figure does not have this. So that's really cool. I don't think we have a price for this guy just yet. But there we go. Now there's essentially the entire crew finished. So their Grimlock should be coming out shortly in terms of the hero class, not the actual masterpiece class. That we're gonna have to wait for quite a while. Right? We're gonna be waiting on that little bugger for a bit. There's still no new real update in terms of that figure. But this one should be releasing. See, I want to know if the hero class Slug has the same problematic ball joint. I don't think so. Because I know when it came to the re-release of that particular figure, I think they fixed that. I do think that they fixed that. So he should be coming out soon. Going by the prices, the other chug scale down, what's it going to be, $40 to $50? Yeah, so that's a lot more affordable than what the masterpiece scales are. Because they are an arm and a leg. Literally. So this one just dropped as well. So this here is a small little SD/chibi styled Waspinator from, I believe it's the same people that did the chibi styled Beast Wars Megatron. Yeah, it's the same people that did the chibi style Beast Wars Megatron. And also a chibi style Volcanicus. So that's kind of wicked. That is actually genuinely kind of wicked. I was kind of hoping that they would at least try to, you know, cleverly disguise the combiner bits as like a type of dinosaur instead of whatever the fuck that is. Like some little midget gargoyle. Although granted it is kind of funny looking. It is kind of funny looking, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of gives me like Meta Knight vibes. What with the wings and the little torso. But yeah. So that's pretty much everything in terms of like all the toy news and stuff like that. I don't want to end stream just yet, just because let me see here real quick. Let's see here. What videos can we watch that were Yeah, as soon as I pop up on YouTube, there's already so many videos now that are talking about the fucking Asmongold situation where he was talking about male VTubers. Which, yeah, that's to be expected if I'm going to be honest with you guys. That is 100% to be honest. That is totally fair because what he said was pretty divisive, if I'm gonna be honest. But again, you know, I'm honestly proud of you guys. I'm proud of you, chat, for keeping it civil during the whole thing. I was ready to start handing out timeouts like I was on the fucking Oprah Winfrey channel, but no, like I'm proud of you guys for handling it. Now, I don't think I will be covering more serious stuff like that anytime soon. I don't know. I kind of want to go over lolcow stuff too. Right? I kind of want to go over like lolcow stuff because here's the thing. I love going over lolcows like say, oh god, what is it? Nova Online. Nova has kind of become like my little hyperfixation when it comes to like lolcows, because if you don't know anything about Nova, he is what people call a chome. And like that's a word I've been quoting now for like the past few days. It's just chome. And the thing is, like, I had to look up what that meant because apparently chome is like a Gen Z word, and so is chomo. Right, so it was like fucking chomo. But you don't want to call someone a chomo, because I just learned what a chomo meant. I had to get a crash course in what a chomo is. But no, like, this past week has been very busy and very chaotic for me, because I had to move from one part of Maine to the other. So now I don't want to dox myself entirely, but I do live not too far now from like New Hampshire. So I've never really been to New Hampshire before. So it's going to be fun, especially since now I can go to New Hampshire and get stuff for cheap because I don't got to pay taxes, or what is it, like state taxes or shit like that. Especially if I want to get like a case of Dr. Pepper Zero and I don't have to pay like a fucking can deposit tax. But no, like it's been a crazy week. Like this whole moving stuff has been a more or less a very crazy week for good old Grarl. And it's not going to lay up anytime soon either because of, well, mainly just because of like there's some stuff that's going on this week that I'm like on bated breath. Like, I have been eyeballing my email for, like, the past few days now. well, for the past like day and a half since, you know, this week just started. And it's going to be busy. It's going to be busy, and it's going to be very, very, very chaotic here very soon. Depending on whether or not I get a certain email from the military. It's going to get wild. It is definitely going to get wild here. And, no, like, honestly, I'm glad to be streaming again, because I don't know, I guess you could say I had like a little bit of like stream withdrawals because I've just been doing this for so long. But honestly, I kind of needed it as well. But no, like right now, I could say like I just genuinely like my new location now. It's a lot nicer. Now, granted, I'm also like all the way out in the country now, which is fine. Personally, don't really mind all that much. I kind of like the peace and quiet a little bit. The house itself is pretty nice. Although I will sit here and say is that apparently, there are like ghost activities and stuff like that in this town apparently, which I also am like really, really excited to see because I really like ghost stuff. So, and then now apparently I just learned that apparently like with Maine is also like a Bigfoot capital, which also really surprised me because I was like I didn't even realize there was like Bigfoot stuff all the way over here in Maine, because when I think of like Bigfoot, I don't think of like Maine or the northern United States. I think it's more of like what is it, like the Northwest or some shit like that, like Washington or Oregon or Montana, you know, not Maine. But no, apparently Maine is the Bigfoot capital of the world or some shit. So that's wild. That is actually wild. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me see, what can we watch? Trying to see here. What else can we watch? Although I will say there is a video that I do kind of want to watch as well, just because we're just like on the sensitive, like not sensitive, but serious subjects and stuff like that. Is that I do kind of want to watch this thing called Why 90% of VTubers Fail. Because it's a very interesting video. I don't know, would you guys be interested in watching that by chance? I was gonna say, like, would you guys be, you know, kind of interested in that? Because again, it's a very interesting read. Because it's stuff that's actually pretty true. Now, and I will say, it's not like a controversial take like, say, Asmongold, but it is something that, you know, this was made by a person who does actual, like, legit VTubing, like, rigging and model artwork and stuff like that, and it's actually kind of an eye-opener, especially since, you know, if you're just starting off as a VTuber, it is kind of a bit of an eye-opener. Because you don't, like, when you're a VTuber, you don't really notice these kind of things that, like, until you just kind of, like, sit there when you've been doing this for, like, maybe, like, 2 or 3 years, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, like, half of the people I knew, like, half of my friends I've made through VTubing are gone. Like, they're just gone. Either they're gone, or they rebranded, or they went to join, like, you know, corpos, or some just took off and got way too busy. You know what? Fuck it, why not? Let's watch it.
have tracked
Alright,
100
hold up.
indie V.
Hold up. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Okay, so...
I have tracked 100.
Nope. Ah, shut up. Okay, so... There we go. Yeah, let me actually transform this real quick so that it fits in the screen. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is done by a person by the name of Wafo. And honestly, I love her rigging. So whenever I was shopping around for new riggers and stuff like that for my model, I was looking at Wafo. Like her stuff is a lot of money, but like it's well worth it. Like you'll see in this video, like her prices are well worth it.
Indie VTuber debuts to see who actually survived. The results were terrifying because 92%
Like I love her
were
model.
completely inactive within 6 months. While I track these VTuber,
Which is true. Like, so someone mentioned this earlier, and I think Stego brought this up on like one of his streams, was that the people who stream for over, say, 3 years or more are like we're basically the 2%ers. Like we're kind of essentially like the last man standing.
debuts, I noticed one strange pattern that almost nobody talks about. And once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. Today, we're breaking down the 5 fatal mistakes that kills indie VTubers before they even begin, and the one simple change that could completely transform your growth.
Now, and I will say this is that when I first started streaming, right? When Grarl was just a baby VTuber back in the distant year of 2022, right? Back whenever I was a tiny little baby VTuber, I made several mistakes just because I jumped the gun and I was just, adamant on like wanting to stream really, 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 really badly, right? I like for veterans in here who have been around since I first started, which by the way, thank you so much for sticking around. But the thing that I've learned, and the thing that I did during my debut, was that I completely jumped the gun and I streamed with like almost no assets. 0 assets. I didn't have a background. I didn't have stingers. I didn't have emotes. I had like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. It took me up until the point where I got my 2.0 reference sheet that I finally got actual emotes for myself. Which is in 2024. Yeah, it took me a solid 2 years for me to actually get legit emotes for myself. It's kind of nuts to think about that.
Mistake number 1 is what I call the model trap. Indie creators are treating VTubing like a pay-to-win gacha game. They believe that if they just drop $5,000 on a high-end live TD model with 80 different toggleable expressions, that the algorithm would magically reward them with an...
Which, okay, honestly, some of it's true. Right? Some of it's true. Like, if you manage to pour in a lot of money into a very attractive model, like we mentioned earlier, you could have like the most gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous model in the world, right? But if your personality is kind of poop and you don't really offer anything, then guess what? You just poured 1,000, if not several thousands of dollars down the pooper. And let me tell you, some VTuber models cost the same amount as a down payment on a car or a house. It is nuts.
Audience, but it doesn't work like that. The global VTuber market was valued at roughly $6.28 billion in 2023.
God damn.
7.2 billion by 2026.
Yeah.
Professional models now range anywhere from $500 to $10,000 when they're custom. But
yeah, oh yeah, no, it's crazy. Like the prices for VTubing models went up, and it went up significantly. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I am exceedingly blessed that I I could thank the fucking Lord for me to commission Enyel, who is my model mama, to make this model for the prices that she was offering. And she kept the models consistently priced. Doesn't matter who it was. Because I think I want to say I dropped about, I want to say maybe 15 for this model alone, and she did payment plans, which honestly, payment plans are an absolute godsend. They are an absolute fucking godsend. So I think I paid about 15 for this model, and then all of the trimmings, so things like my toggles, like hell, like this right here, my emotes, because I paid extra for the Zoids outfit, so this, right, so that right there. So the model in total, I think, was about 1,500. I have to kind of go back and look at it again. But I think I spent nearly $2,000, close to $2,000 on this model, with including all of the extra toggles, things like my spare outfits, my arm folding toggle, my my outfits. So I have like my summer outfit, my fall outfit, the Kaiser outfit, and so counting all my outfits. So there's the Zoids outfit, the Kaiser. There is fall, summer, and then the shirtless toggle. I think that alone, I think was probably about like 500. Not all in one go though. Not all in one go. So I think I paid about nearly $2,000 just for this model alone over the course of like a couple of years.
VTubers don't subscribe to a PSD file. They subscribe to an entertainer and
True.
a real person behind that model.
True.
I draw and rig VTuber models for a living. I've seen creators spend thousands of dollars on my own rigs before they even stream one.
Which is crazy because, and this is something I was telling a friend of mine because he really wants to get into VTubing. And I told him, like, bro, buddy, listen, if you want to go into VTubing, that is perfectly fine. Right? That is perfectly fine if you want to go into VTubing. Please, by all means, VTube. Please, it's fun. This is a fun little hobby. But the thing is that if you want to get into VTubing, take advantage what I could not. And that is get pre-made models. Pre-made models are a godsend because that will help you kind of think about whether you want to do this or not. And that's perfectly fine. Because you're spending maybe $200, $250 on a pre-customizable model that you can customize the shit out of to however you want. As opposed to like pouring in like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 on a model. On a high-end model. And that's fucking crazy sauce.
So when I tell you the model isn't the thing that determines success, I'm speaking from inside of this economy.
True, yes.
$10,000 rig won't save you from a 0-viewer stream. Free models are completely okay. Mistake number 2.
Yes.
Choosing the wrong platform. 90% of indies default to Twitch because it's like the streaming platform. This mistake is so common, it's insane to me because there is such a simple fix that'll gain so much more of an audience for.
Which, here's the thing, multi-stream. Multi-stream. Always, 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 always multi-stream. Right? I can't stress that enough. Especially since Twitch right now is in the shitter and it's a shitty place to stream. It's also the biggest place to stream, and I completely understand that. But if you really do want to grow, I would highly, highly, highly recommend multi-streaming. You don't have to. You can sit there and stream, and I know people. I know people like my friend Skiddo. She only streams on YouTube, and that's fine. It's perfectly a-okay to do that. I know some of my friends who only stream on Twitch. Again, perfectly understandable. I'm not gonna, yuck your yums about that, right? I believe Kira P, I believe she only streams on Twitch. And like I said, my friend Skiddo only streams on YouTube. That's fine. But if you really do want to grow, multi-streaming, simulcasting is the best way to go. Especially since now Twitch has really laxed and have done away with the rule that you can't do that. It's a great way to simulcast on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Twitter. Like right now for me, I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter right now.
Any VTuber, first of all, stop streaming solely on Twitch. There are better ways. Twitch has zero organic discovery for a new streamer. If you're sitting at 0 views in any category on Twitch, you're buried under thousands of people.
Yes, definitely. And really, Twitch will only bring up already established people. So like if you have a higher viewer count, guess what? You're going to be pulled up higher. If you are someone like me who is, and I don't want to sit here like say like, oh, well, I'm only sitting at like 3 viewers, which I'm only sitting at 3 viewers with a chat that's not moving. And I'm not, and the thing is like, I'm not bashing. I'm going to be flat out honest. I'm not bashing at all. But what I am saying though is that this, like that won't, what am I looking for here? That won't help with discoverability on Twitch. On YouTube, it's a little bit different. On YouTube, it's a little bit more organic for people to find you, right? So, take what you get.
On the other hand, operates on a content algorithm, not a pure live viewer hierarchy.
True.
That means YouTube directs your content to a real audience that cares.
Yes.
I like to use SE multi-stream,
which, with a oversaturated market like VTubing, that could either make or break it.
By leveraging YouTube Shorts, you can actually push your content to new screens. So I stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now too. And then, so this is also like a huge crutch of mine as well, because I can't really, I'm really bad at this, right? I'm really, really bad at this. But doing short-term content, right? So doing short-term content also really can help you out with the algorithm, getting eyes on you. That could actually help you out a lot. Especially when it comes to like highlights and reels and stuff like that.
Number 3, the debut stream delusion.
Yeah.
You see HoloLive and Niji Sanji talents debut to 100,000 concurrent viewers.
Yeah, because they're big corpos. They're big corpo borpos.
Videos, graphic, and a rigid schedule. But here's the harsh truth. Those massive agencies control the entire market right now.
Yeah, they do. Like, people like, HoloLive, Phase Connect, and Niji Sanji, as much as you may not like corpo VTubers, they kind of have a chokehold on the VTubing streaming platform. And if it's not them, then it's the already pre-established indie VTubers. So already you have a chokehold on a already extremely saturated market. It is right now, as a streamer, as a VTuber, it is very, very hard to really progress unless you get extremely lucky. You get extremely, extremely lucky.
Data shows that just HoloLive and Niji Sanji alone capture over 60% of all of VTuber viewership globally. When an agency
that's a little nuts.
They're inheriting an audience of millions. When you debut, you're a complete stranger shouting into the void. Treating your first day on the internet like a highly anticipated corporate event is pure delusion. Your first stream shouldn't even be a debut. It should just be a stream. Trust me, because if the deck is stacked this heavily against you, you should make your own cards.
Yeah, no, like, the best way I can describe it when you want to debut as a VTuber, especially since you are a no-named indie VTuber, like, you're kind of spawning into the beginner baby level, like, kind of picture it as like an RPG, right? When you spawn in into VTubing, you're kind of in that little training area with all the other level 1 people, right? That's kind of where you're at. and you're basically a no-name. You're a nobody. So when you want to debut, like you're the only one in the room, because chances are you are definitely going to be the only one in the room. Now there are circumstances where that's not the case. Sometimes you get lucky with like, the community who knows who you are and try to hype you up a little bit. But for the most part, you're on your own, right? You are 100% on your own. And even though I have been streaming now for nearly 4 years, whenever I go live, I talk like I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to the void. Even though there are people watching, but the thing that you kind of ingrain into the back of your skull is that you kind of basically try to talk to you like you're just talking to yourself. But not only talking to yourself, but you're talking to like a whole group of people, if that makes any kind of sense. You're acting like you're talking to a group of people and also talking to yourself at the same time.
I'm Waffle Bean. I'm an artist, animator, and live 2D rigger. I draw and animate everything on my channel, and I've built a community of over 6,000 of you by studying the technical mechanics of what actually makes the VTuber industry function. I make VTuber models, so I want you to succeed. And hey, comment 3 purple heart emojis if you've watched this far. Let's look at
leave a comment down in her video.
Indies keep their entire persona a secret up until their debut day. This is a complete misunderstanding of how indie VTubing works. You can't just expect people to show up for a grand reveal if you haven't given them a reason to care about you.
Right. Like, now, with big corpo VTubers, they can get away with the mystique, right? They can, tease and silhouette all their talents and stuff like that because, they're already a pre-established name. They're, HoloLive. They can sit there and drop a debut trailer of a bunch of, no-named talents that they're about to debut, and all you really see is their silhouettes. You don't know their personalities yet. They can do that. They have the luxury to do that. You, as an indie, kind of really don't, because your whole personality as who you are as a person is the driving factor, is the thing that brings people in, right? Like, to sit there and like do vague posts of who you are on Twitter and stuff like that, and like your debut trailer, it ain't gonna work, Chief. I'm gonna be real with you. You kind of need to build that mystique yourself. Like, you just drop in and just be yourself, and then you kind of have to slowly bring that in a little bit, little by little. You know what I'm saying?
Beforehand, the creators who actually survive their first 6 months are the ones posting shorts, sharing behind-the-scenes rigging progress.
Yeah, I got all that backwards.
And talking in other creators' chats months before they ever even hit
Now I did that.
the live button. You have
Now I did that. Now I did that whenever I first started off, because when I first started off as a VTuber, by popping into people's chats, and I was infamous for popping into people's chats, and I still am to this day, right? I still am to this very day. But I pop into people's chats and I act like a complete and total terror. People know me by name because of how much fuckery I bring to the table. And that got people, liking me. Like Kira. Me and Kira are very good friends. We're very, very good friends. But I got known throughout Kira's community because I would pop into her chats and I would do what I do best. I annoy them. I annoy the shit out of them. If you've already debuted at least once, you can in theory do some teasers for a new model. But that's really only after you've become well established. I wouldn't say that exactly, Ranma. I think you can. So I think what it is it's like what she just mentioned. You kind of have to build it up with like popping into people's chats, posting online, doing all these kind of things. So that, or hell, making friends. Making friends. Popping into other people's communities, popping into their chats, letting yourself be well known. So that way you actually have a little tiny bit of a foothold. So that way when you do get your model, you can kind of tease it. Like what I did. Right? So like what I did. So when I got my first model, I teased it by showing a little bit of the eyes. And that went off really well. Because now people now have a face to the person that's been tormenting and acting like a little shit to them. And what a surprise. The model itself had a shit-eating grin. And even now, this model right here, even with this model right here, I still have a big old shit-eating smug look on my face. Like, no, really, like, even with my neutral pose and expression, I still look like I have a shit-eating smug look on my face. The art reflects the person.
To build the funnel before you can turn on the water, but the final
True.
mistake is one almost every single indie VTuber makes, and fixing it is the fastest way to actually start growing and improving. Mistake number 5: putting in hobby level effort but expecting CEO level
True.
returns. If you want
True. I think just about every other VTuber has done this before. I'm not guilty. I've done this before. I've been down this path a couple of times myself, where I would put in hobby level, bare minimum level effort and then expect a giant reward. It don't work that way. If you want it, you work for it. You know what I'm saying? If you really, 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 really want it, if you really want this, and you want this to be your career choice, if you really desperately want this to be your career choice, you put in the effort like you're a fucking madman. You grind, you grind, you grind, you grind, and then you actually get your results by putting in shorts, by editing stuff. Hell, sometimes you just have to put in the legwork and edit your own damn self. I've done it a few times. You make your own thumbnails, you make your own videos, you make your own compilations, you do the grind, you commission artwork, so that way people can see your character. You put in the grind, and then you get maximum reward when you do that. It's something that I tell my troops in the army. I tell them, are you hungry or are you starving? This means, are you hungry? Where, yeah, you're hungry, but you can go on a little bit more. You don't really need it right now. But if you're starving, you'll do everything in your power to get it. You'll get everything in your power to obtain it. I hear how serious you are with you hitting your palm. Oh yeah, no. This is what I do whenever I actually am like trying to hammer in my point.
to do this for fun, that's totally fine.
Wait,
if you want to make this your job, you have to treat it like a business. Industry
True.
monetization data shows that for successful VTubers, super chats make up to 39% of their
Yes.
revenue on average, and memberships take up about 26%. This kind of financial support only comes from a deeply loyal and hyper-engaged community. You don't
Exactly. Now, things like Throne, Throne, super chats, subscriptions, and stuff like that. Whenever I see you guys like subscribe to me or go on my Throne and do some fuckery dudes, which by the way I did now. So I set up some new alerts for my Throne. So if you ever go touch it, I will now know of it. So there you go. But no, like seriously though, you have a good community and good fans when you have people who want to give you your money or give you their money. Because so the best way I'd like to describe streamers and VTubers in general, you are a glorified street performer. You are a glorified street performer. You are the dancing monkey. You are the dancing monkey in front of a live audience with a cup in your hand or a cup right next to you, because you're literally your entire people don't get it. Like, especially when it comes to big time VTubers and stuff like that, people don't get it because they have like all these massive corpo borpo, sponsorships and stuff like that, right? You have all these kind of privileges and stuff like that. But when you are a streamer, I don't care how big you are, I don't care how small you are, I don't care how medium you are. When you are a streamer, when you are a VTuber, your income, and if this is your job is a job that relies on the charity of others. Without your dedicated fandom, without your dedicated community giving you their money, you have nothing. You are flipping burgers, put the or as the kids say, put the fries in the bag. You are flipping burgers, you are driving around making deliveries, you are hustling with a 9 to 5. People like I feel like sometimes like larger content creators kind of forget that your entire income as a full-blown streamer is the charity of others. You are heavily reliant on people to give you their money for being a dancing monkey. It is the cold hard reality, and that may sound mean, and you can tell me that I'm wrong, and I might be. But from what I have seen, again, you are a dancing monkey with a cup in your hand and relying on other people to give you money.
Get that by just streaming randomly twice a week and refusing to edit down your own VODs. You get it by studying analytics and getting these numbers to go up. See this number right
like here? And to kind of hammer it back home again is that if you can't sit there and demand or expect results if you're only streaming maybe, and I knew someone who was like this, where they would only stream maybe once a year, once a year, 3 times a year, or something like that. And they have a surprise Pikachu face when their numbers are down. When their numbers are down, there's no subs, there's no nothing, right? Especially when it comes to Twitch. The follower count on your Twitch does not translate to income. You rely on subs. And they were like, well, how come I don't have, the numbers? Why are there no people, why is there barely anyone watching my streams? And it's like, well, listen here, private dipshit. Because Sergeant Growl's about to, lay the law on you, right? Listen here, private dipshit. It is because you don't stream. You don't put out anything. You don't do nothing. Nothing. You tweet all day and start drama. That is why. If you put in the effort to grind, you will get max results.
here, this is what you should be focusing on. CTR. Click-through rate is one of the biggest and simplest ways to get real viewers to click. And how do you improve it? Better titles and better pictures.
Yes.
And this is the real reason most of those 92 creators
and I will 100% admit, I'm not good at making titles for my streams. I am not. I'm 100% not very good at making titles for my streams.
disappeared. So, what did we learn? Most indie VTubers quit quickly. So if you continue to stream after 6 months...
Hi, Venara. How are you doing?
10%. Expensive models don't create immediate success.
No,
A
they don't.
high-end live 2D model...
And the thing is, like, I have a story about someone who has a high-end model and doesn't do shit. Who has a beautiful, gorgeous model. They have a gorgeous model, but they don't stream. But again, they wonder why they don't have the numbers. Why are there only a finite amount of people joining in? Again, it's because you don't put in the effort. If you put in the effort, you will get the results. I will say this until I am blue.
Can't replace entertaining content, good audio, and engaging commentary. Platform strategy.
Hi, Vanara. Sorry you had to jump in when we're having like a serious conversation. I don't know why this whole day got really, really fucking serious. Did it work? Did it work? Weird. I thought... Hang on, give me a second here. Hang on, give me a second here. Oh, wait, that's why I misspelled the name. Hang on, give me a second here. Sorry, my... There we go. There she goes. This is one of the VTubers that calls me Dino Dad.
Stream both on Twitch and YouTube Shorts.
That
so
and
I can
beans.
actually push content to new viewers
And they
through
never
algorithms
call.
that Twitch just doesn't have.
My VTuber children never call me. I'm sad. Nah, it's fine.
Debut streams are not what makes creators grow. Agency
No.
debuts succeed because they inherit massive audiences. Indie creators start from
Mhm.
zero, so the first stream should focus on content, not spectacle. Audience building must start even before streaming.
Yes, this is true. And I will say this, and I will add this as well. Yeah, you have to start before you start streaming. You make a name for yourself before you start streaming. But if you put in the... I'm trying to think here. I would say also in a positive manner, because if you are, yes, grinding, but also if you are putting in where you are making a name for yourself before you start streaming, and you're known for being a drama starter, a V-tweeter, negative connotations like that, it's going to carry. I know someone who is like that. And I'm not gonna, name names or drop whoever, but I know, and I've told my friends about this, because if you know, you know, but they made a name for themselves for being a drama starter. They were a shit flinger. They were all these other bad connotations. And then now that's where they are. They're sitting there on their Twitter just tweeting all day about drama. They never put in the grind. They only stream maybe once a year or 3 times a year or whatever. But if you put in the effort and you make a name for yourself in a more or less in a decent manner, people will come. People will actually come to your stream. Networking is also key. Networking is very much key to this as well.
Successful creators.
And this is coming from someone who has been streaming for nearly 4 years, 5 years almost, right? This year is my 4th year streaming. So I'm not, and here's the thing, am I a successful streamer? No, not at all. I will be flat out honest with you. I'm not a successful streamer, right? I stream to maybe, again, I don't like flinging out my numbers because I feel like it's in bad taste. Let's see here. If they don't stream and then wonder why people don't join into what? Exactly. Especially if you stream and your personality is very boring, then they're really not going to join. They're really not going to join you then. But no, like for me, I would say, like, as someone who has been streaming for nearly 4 years, like this year is my 4th year anniversary. Again, am I a successful streamer? Not at all. Absolutely not at all. But I think when it came to my streaming career, I think the most bitter pill I had ever swallowed especially since I have been wanting it for so long. Since I started, I had to face reality and really look at myself and go, this is not for me. This will never be my job. This will never be my career. This will always be a hobby. Right? And to me, that is the most bitter pill to, as a content creator. As a content creator who wants something so badly, to accept reality and understand that what you want will never happen. And I think that's the most bitter pill for any content creator to swallow. And I had to do that last year. So, yeah, no, this will never be like my job. Would it be great? Sure. Absolutely. But I'm fine with putting in hobby level effort and getting hobby level results. And if I get lucky, I get lucky. If I don't, I don't. Because for me, I have something else in the wings that's coming up very soon. Right? So, again, if you want this to be your job, you have to put your nose to the grind, okay? Because I have seen people who have been grinding, and they're really great fucking people. I have seen so many really amazing people grind their little booties off and... Sorry, hang on. Have grind their little booties off, and where they are right now in terms of their VTubing career, just streaming career as a whole, they earned their spot at the table, right? They 100% earned their spot at the table. But that's also because they woke up and they fucking grind, right? If you put in the effort, you will get the results. And again, are you hungry? And it boils down to, are you hungry or are you starving? Are you hungry and you can miss a meal and you'll be fine? Or are you starving to change? Are you starving to want this to be a reality? Because again, if you're hungry, you could eat, but you'll be fine. But if you're starving, you will do everything you can to make that a reality.
Build awareness by posting content, sharing progress, and interacting with communities before their first stream ever starts. If you're serious about surviving the VTuber industry, please subscribe and comment. Thank you so much to my patrons.
Yeah, give her a follow. This is Wafu. Or Wafu. Wafo. This is Wafo. Like, give her a follow on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Like, this was very insightful.
6. Remember, you get a Choco VTuber model entirely free just from clicking this link. And if you support me, you can download all of the VTuber models I've ever made of my character. Thank you so much for supporting me. Join the Discord and have a tasty snack. Bye!
Okay, so that is where we will... That's where we will end it tonight. I know this has been a pretty serious day. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a very, very, very serious like little day going on, right? But it's something that I really wanted to kind of like go over. I think this is probably the most serious I have ever been in terms of a stream. But yeah, no, so that right there was, that was a very insightful video, but again, highly recommend checking out Wafo. Check out her art. Like, her stuff is really good. And then we got an ad break going on here in about a minute. So I think what we'll do is that we will run the ad, and then when we return, we will find actually I'm gonna find someone for us to raid. So actually, I'll extend the ad break for this. So when we return, everyone, we will find someone for us to rate. So we'll be right back, everybody. All right, everybody. Welcome back from Ad Break Baby Jail. All right, so we are gonna go raid. You know what? Let's go raid. Let's raid someone new. Let's go raid Send the Ink Fox. She was in here earlier. Love her. Yeah, no, thank you for stopping by. So I will be back on Wednesday. And also, we're going to raid Sen because we've never raided her before. I love her design. So, yeah, we're going to go say hi to Sen. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay. So, I will be back on Wednesday, everybody. So, until then, all of you lovely people, I'll catch you all later. And let's go say hi to the Ink Fox.